Speaking of FanDuel, they have Arizona right now as a 17.5-point favorite over the Miners of UTEP. I love Arizona here. So let's get into the Pac-12 Prime Picks because it is a challenging week to say the least, but because there just aren't going to be that many close games, big numbers are tough to pick. We don't even have spreads on all the games, so the options to choose from are pretty limited at this point in time. The one I'm staying away from is Oregon minus 37.5. But let me start with probably my favorite pick of the week, Arizona minus 17.5 against UTEP. Here's what I know about UTEP. Through 3 games, they've played one Power 5 opponent. That was at Northwestern. They lost 38-7. Do I think Arizona is good enough to play on the field with Northwestern? Absolutely. That's point 1. Point 2, Arizona's weakness offensively and the way you slow them down is what Mississippi State did a week ago. You turn over Jaden DeLora. They forced 5 turnovers last week. 4 of them were interceptions. The Miners have played Jacksonville State. They've played Northwestern. And their other opponent this year is Incarnate Word. That's their only win, and that's an FCS opponent. Jacksonville State, by the way, was FCS just 1 season ago. They have forced a grand total of 1 interception in 3 games. This is not a team that forces a lot of turnovers, and that's what you need to slow down Arizona and stay within striking distance here. I think Arizona's defense is much improved. I thought that in the offseason. I like the moves they made. That reared its head last week against Mississippi State. They got down 14-0 early. Boom. They allowed 10 points in the final 3 quarters on the road in Starkville. Hostile environment. Solid Power 5 program, Mississippi State. Now they come back home and play UTEP, who through 3 games this year have put up 14 points in a loss to Jacksonville State, 28 points against an FCS opponent, Incarnate Word, and 7 against their lone Power 5 opponent. Consider me unimpressed. I will take Arizona to hammer the Miners here, 38-10 with a cover. That's my favorite pick of the week. Next one that I like, I'm sticking with Arizona State to beat Fresno State. I thought that would be one of their 3 wins before the season. I still believe that. They might be a 2-win team by the time the year comes to a close. We'll see how it shakes out. The Pac-12 is really, really tough. But Arizona State, I thought, looked much better, especially on the defensive side of the ball against Oklahoma State. I don't love Fresno State's quarterback situation, having lost Jake Haener from a season ago, who was kind of the driving force for a lot of their success. Fresno State is 2-0 this year. They're coming off a 3-point win against an FCS team themselves in Eastern Washington. Not impressive. So give me ASU to cover the +3. I would like it more at 3.5. Yes, absolutely. I will take them +3, and I will take them to win outright 24-20 over Fresno State. Colorado is winning big against Colorado State. Look, the Rams allowed 58 points on their home field to Washington State. Does anyone think that the offenses between Colorado and Washington State have a massive gap? Cam Ward is really good. Shedeur Sanders is really good, maybe better. And then the weapons you have at Colorado, are they not at the very least comparable? Dare I say superior to what you have at Washington State, whose receivers have played well this year? But overall, I think that Colorado's had a really buttoned up, well-executed offense. I like Sean Lewis a lot as the offensive coordinator. I love Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. And the Rams defense is vulnerable to the passing attack, which is all you have. Like, this is a strength for Colorado against a weakness for the Rams. They lost to Washington State 58-21. That was at home. Sorry, not 58-21. I was thinking of a different game. 50-24. That was at home. I don't think on the road they're going to be able to manage 24 points. And I think Colorado scores at least 40. I think you have a 45-17 ball game here. Colorado minus 23.5. Yeah, I'm taking that pick right there. Now, the biggest game of the week is Washington at Michigan State. There are only 2 outcomes when a coach has a scandal or is dismissed from the team and an interim comes into the situation. The team plays super motivated, or the team is just completely defeated. And look, this is a coin flip of outcomes. This is either going to be way closer than it should be, or Washington is going to win by 30 plus points. I have a feeling this is the one I'm going to regret. I am betting the value in the line movement here more than anything. Washington at Michigan State opened at 11.5. It was minus 11.5 for Washington. It's now up to 16.5. Do I think that Mel Tucker, who was coaching the game last year and allowed a bunch of passing yards to the Huskies, is suddenly making all the difference in the world? I think this is a backdoor cover. 16.5 is just a lot to what I think is a mildly improved, though not a lot, Michigan State team at home. They're 2-0, so the crowd's going to be on fire, and they've got a top 10 team coming to town. Washington is a much better football team. I think they keep them at an arm's length for most of the game, and then some perhaps. It'll be like a 14 to 17 point game. Maybe a late field goal gives Michigan State the cover. I'll take Washington to win it 34-20. So last pick here of the 5 Pac-12 Prime Picks, which I hope continue on a good path, but boy, I don't know. We'll just have to see, because I don't love every pick. The picks I love the most are Colorado and Arizona. Those are the ones that I really, really like this week. Everyone else, gosh, there's some real questions. I don't love the lines. I'm going Oregon State minus 24.5 against San Diego State. I think the Aztecs, much like last week, are going to struggle to score points. I think you're going to have an Oregon State team whose offense has looked really good and sharp so far, continue to look that way. I think Oregon State's a better team than UCLA, who won this game 35-10. I'll give the Beavs another 6 points at home, given that they're at Reser Stadium, where they've been really, really tough to beat. 41-10, I think, is the final score here in Corvallis on Saturday. Oregon State wins and covers over the Aztecs of San Diego State. So, lines provided by FanDuel, like Oregon State minus 24.5, Colorado minus 23.5, Arizona State plus 3, Arizona minus 17.5, and then Michigan State plus 16.5, the Week 3 edition of the Pac-12 Prime Picks. If you were ever going to pick a week to fade the picks of a guy who's 7-3 in the last 10, this might be the one. I'm just saying, I'm not telling you what to do. Just throwing it out there that these are tricky lines and I don't have as many available as I would like, but those are the 5 that I feel best about. Should be a weekend with a lot of big scores in football. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the football. Have a wonderful rest of your day.